everybody, and welcome back to YouTube. Today we're talking about Chivalry 2 again, and today we're going to be discussing the age-old question, or maybe the question that a lot of you might be having right now. And if you haven't been playing Chivalry for a while, you might actually have this question in your head right now. And if you have been playing Chivalry a lot, you probably don't have this question in your head. However, I feel like it's a good way to talk about Chivalry 2. Now, the big topic of the day is Chivalry 2 dead? And if it is, how dead is it? Or is Chivalry 2 alive? Now, be sure to follow me on Twitter, because later today I'm probably going to post an update tweet related to this video, or even check my YouTube community tab. If you go to my channel community tab, I'm going to put an update there and tell you exactly what the results are, because today I did do some tests in Chivalry 2 on how to find a server, how long it would take, and how many custom servers or like on the server browser that were filled with players. And I feel like this is a good way to gauge a little bit on the game's health. Now, we were testing this at like around 2 p.m.-ish, like 1 p.m., 2 p.m.-ish for the game. Probably not the highlight time of when people are at home gaming Chivalry 2, but I thought it was worth just to check, because if the game is really popular, you can access and play out almost any time. Now, the downside here, if you play Chivalry a lot, the results of the tests I did earlier of how many players there were around were not too impressive. Now, in the 64-player mode, I think we maxed out at 40 players total, and that isn't bad. At 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 40 players playing Chivalry 2, that's not bad at all. And when we jumped over to the 20v20 mode, I think we were 16 players, around 16, 20 players total, so like about half the requirement to be a full lobby. But the one thing that actually interested me and caught me a little bit off guard is that when you play Chivalry 2, and if you go to free-for-all, there's actually quite a lot of people playing free-for-all. And I think the reason a lot of people are playing free-for-all, and I think this is related because consoles don't have a server browser, people go into free-for-all to duel and have their like one-on-one situations and practice their blocks and counterattacks and parries and maybe some archery skills. Now, I will say being an archer in free-for-all is not very easy, because people spawn right next to you and they jump on top of you immediately, and you have no chance to fire more than like 2-3 arrows before you have to scramble to get your little butter knife out and defend yourself. On the server browser, on the other hand, we didn't have as many players. There was a few servers that had a few players, but there were barely any. As you can see here, there wasn't really a lot of players on the servers. So I would imagine that the PC pool of players, the people that are playing on PC, is not around playing the video game. Now, I have a question to pose to you guys. You can answer this in the comments below. So, what do you think? What is your opinion on Chivalry 2? If you've played it a lot or played it a little, or if you haven't played it at all recently, how is your perception of the game? Do you perceive Chivalry 2 as a dead game, a live game, or a very thriving game with a lot of players? Now, I would say that the game is definitely alive, it's not dead, but I do think that it's lacking a little bit of that player base. Then again, a medieval game like Chivalry 2, like a combat, medieval, swing swang, arrow, pew pew, it's a very niche game. It's not very mainstream, you could say. But I think that Chivalry 2 will have greater success when it goes to Steam, with increasing at least the PC player pool. Because a lot of players, at least when you look at, for example, Mordhau in comparison. Now, yes, we're not going to compare Mordhau every damn time when we do a Chivalry 2 video, but I thought it was pretty worth, talking about this. So, the comparison between Mordhau and Chivalry is that in Steam, you can kind of see how many players are online in the game. And on Mordhau right now at this time, the recording of this voiceover, which is around 2:30 p.m. On Mordhau, there's about 1,500 people. 1,500 people. That means there's a lot of full servers, probably a lot of dueling servers going on, and that's a decent amount of players on at this time. When we reach peak hours of Mordhau, there's probably going to be even more players. So if we look at the Mordhau Steam chart here, if we bring up like the peak time of Mordhau, there's around 2,700, almost 3,000 players online. But the game consistently has more than 1,000 players on throughout the entire 24-hour period, which means that the game is, I would say, very much alive. It hasn't gained a huge amount of player base. It's slowly dropped off a little bit, the player base of Mordhau, but they're still there. Chivalry 2 is probably going to have a big increase in players when it goes to Steam, because when I was younger and I played Chivalry 1, I remembered I wanted Chivalry 2 on Steam. Now that didn't happen, and now it's finally happened, and we have Chivalry 2. But that means that I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on Steam waiting for it to be on Steam, because, you know, Epic Games, some people don't really like that platform. I won't say that Epic Games is the worst platform in the world, but I prefer Steam because I have all my friends there, and I have all my games in one library, and I kinda like that everything is in one place. Now, seeing Chivalry 2 coming to Steam very soon is going to be interesting to see what we can expect for the big update. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you are as well. And by the way, guys, we're getting close to 3,000 subscribers, so if you can help me out and be a MVP of the day, click that like button, click that red subscribe button, hit that little notification taco bell, and get a free taco when you get all notifications. If only we could do it like that, right? Hopefully you're having a great day, and if you are, that's amazing to hear. I'm Ben the Turtle, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.